So here we are, episode 1, On the Couch with Chris, take 1. So welcome to our brand new YouTube exclusive TV show, On the Couch with Chris, where we're going to be talking all things property, finance, business. We're going to do a couple of what's hot, what's not, and we're even going to throw in a little bit of sport, my favorite topic. But let's kick off episode 1 with property talk, because there has been so much talk around property, especially in 2022. And I want to give you the actual facts, because we're seeing so many divided opinions out there in the marketplace from buyers and from sellers of all types, because they keep watching the media. Now, you turn on the TV, all you're going to see in the property world is doom and gloom. And I'm here today to tell you that's not the case. So what we're starting to see is sellers are now adjusting their expectations. They have lowered their expectations, meaning they have lowered their price. Now, buyers, on the other hand, what we're seeing with buyers is they are being told from the media that property prices are dropping. Now, I'll tell you right now, the prices have already dropped. We agents have already pretty much got to the level of where the property should be. Now, we've seen anywhere from a 10 to 15% price drop across the board, Australia-wide, just not here, just in Queensland. But buyers have still got this mentality of walking through, coming through their inspections, and then making an offer another $100,000 underneath the asking price. And they're getting really frustrated because they're like, but the property prices are dropping. Why are we not buying these homes? And we try to keep telling them, we've already reduced the prices. And what we're starting to see, and this is really going to come into the last quarter, the real estate market is going to be really dependent on October, November, and December to really see where the property market sits. And what I mean by that is we generally see an influx of properties come to the market in the last quarter of the year. It just always happened traditionally. Look back in history, always happens. But this year in 2022, we have seen really low inventory stock levels, which means in turn, supply and demand. So the supply hasn't been there, the demand has. Now with property prices dropping, okay, there seems to be still that demand. We are still seeing an influx of buyers coming through our inspections, still averaging anywhere between 10 to 20 groups through each week per property. So still a really high number. The homes that have been overpriced or have been sitting on the market for a long time, they're seeing very limited numbers. So in turn, it doesn't matter if the market's going up or it's going down. If you've got your home presented right and priced right, it is still going to attract the buyers. But this last quarter is critical. My prediction is, I believe we're not going to see the amount of homes that we thought we would see come to the market. Now, if that does happen, property prices are not going to continue to fall because the supply is still really low and the demand, well, the demand is high. No matter what you're seeing on the news, there are still buyers transacting in real estate every single day. Now, let's flip that over and talk about the opposite. If we do see an influx of properties come to market, this is where our predictions will be wrong. If more homes come to the market in that final quarter, property prices, you'll see a slight shift again with prices dropping. It's inevitable. It's going to happen, okay? Because there is more supply. There is more choice for these buyers to pick from. Right now, there is really limited choice. If they want to be in a particular home or a particular area in a particular price point, then they are going to jump on it. So the next couple of months in the real estate market, it is going to be critical to see which ways. Are property prices going to continue to fall, or are they just going to plateau and level out? My prediction is they're going to level out. But buyers, if you're watching this, prices have already dropped. So stop asking for further discounts, because the sellers, they're not playing the game anymore. So there's your wrap on the property market. Now let's swing into our next topic, finance, because this is also getting a lot of media talk, especially, and it really coincides with the property market. We have seen 4 interest rate rises in the last 4 months. We have never really seen that. It was 12 years ago since the last rise. So we've been sitting pretty good. Now the official cash rate as of today still stands at 1.85%. Now, from my research last night, I was checking out what a mortgage or the mortgage rates that the banks are offering. Now, this is a great time when we're starting to see a lot of shifting in mortgage rates is shifting your bank. Now, I know it might sound like a lot of hard work, but it could save you thousands and thousands of dollars in the long run. But last night I was on CommBank, and from what I can see, a 30-year loan on a $500,000 mortgage is around that $3,114. And the interest rates, depending on which wealth package you choose, okay, because you can go a 1-year fixed, a 2-year fixed, a 3-year fixed, and then variable, you can go P&I, which is principal and interest. You can go interest only. There are so many. But if we're talking just a standard variable rate, I'm starting to see anywhere between that 5.2 to 5.8. But there are a couple of deals out there still in the 4s. So if you are one of those people that like to shop around, my opinion or my advice right now is you should definitely be shopping around. But let's talk about the effect or the knock-on effect of what happens when interest rates do rise. As I said, a $500,000 mortgage is roughly around $3,114 in repayments. Now, let's just say next month interest rates rise another 0.5% again. What will happen is your repayments will go from around that $3,100 per month to now $3,400. And this has played a critical part in property prices, because what is happening is people's serviceability or what they can afford to repay really affects on what they can go and buy. Now, in the old terms, we would have pre-approvals, and they would have been good for 3 months up to 6 months because the rates weren't changing. What we're seeing now though is everyone has to be re-rated basically every 4 weeks. Every time there is a rate rise, the bank needs to reevaluate where your position, your serviceability. But a lot of people, we see the comments on social media, it's going to be a bloodbath, interest rates are going to continue, they're going to go back to where they were in the 90s, back up at 18%. My prediction, that's never going to happen. But the talk is that all these people are going to be under mortgage stress. What you need to understand though, is there is this other governing body called APRA, which basically is the governing body of the finance sector. And how banks actually work out your repayments is they actually add on an extra 3%. So let's just say the official cash rate or whatever the interest rate will be, they will actually add on an extra 3% buffer to see if you can still service that loan in case interest rates continue to rise. So there's not going to be a bloodbath. People are not going to be under mortgage stress. And if they are, well, I'd have to question, could they have really afforded it, or should they have purchased a different home at that particular time? But from what we're seeing, there is going to be very little mortgage stress out there. And will interest rates stop? I think we'll probably see another 1, maximum maybe a number 2 rise by the end of the year. And then I think the confidence of the inflation is going to plateau out. So that is my wrap on the finance sector and what is happening with interest rates. So what's happening in our world, in the All Properties Group world of business? Well, we have an exclusive. Because this is an exclusive show just here on YouTube, I thought I would drop a bombshell. So not too many people actually know what's going on here, but we have just purchased our 3rd business. So we are expanding, we are growing. So none of the staff know this yet. And what ties in with that is there will now be another local office that we are now taking over. So there is plenty going on in our world right now. Not only are we selling homes, but we are also doing a lot of business deals. In the last 3 weeks, we've actually been trying to negotiate on 3 rent rolls as well too, because that's how we like to grow the business, and that makes the business sustainable. And it's quite funny when I negotiate, because I'm generally the one trying to get the money out of the buyers for our sellers. Being on the other side, being a buyer, I actually find a lot of fun. So there was this one particular rent roll, I'll tell you, we made an offer on it, and they wanted a certain multiplier. I offered this multiplier and didn't hear anything for 3 days, which I found unusual and frustrating, especially as a buyer. We want to try and tie things up fairly quickly. Anyway, the agent came back to us and said, look, happy to meet in the middle. And I took about 24 hours to think about it, went back to the agent and said, no, that's my offer, our calculations, this is what we believe it's worth. My offer will stand at that. And then we didn't hear anything for about a week after that. And then in the meantime, more and more things or more opportunities present themselves in that time. And it wasn't until this new opportunity arose, we took it. We basically gave the owner what they were asking. There was no negotiations on this one. This one was a super nice, clean deal. To date, it is our largest purchase, our biggest deal that in the history of All Properties Group of what we've just taken on. We'll talk more about the mechanics behind the scenes, but there will be another All Properties Group office coming on board, and it's exciting. And so there's lots happening in the business realms of things here at All Properties Group, but I wanted to give you that exclusive. So that is our business talk. So now it's time for Property of the Week, and we have an absolute cracker of a home. Number 1, Wynwood Place in Jacobs Well. This is in the exclusive Calypso Bay estate. There is a pub, restaurants, shops, a marina. It really is becoming a hot place to live if you love living on the water. But number 1, Wynwood Place. Let's talk about it. 4-bed, 3-bath, double-car garage on an 866 square meter block. Now, it does have its own private jet ski dock or a small boat berth out the back on the river. Absolutely sensational, architecturally designed, 4.7 meter high ceilings, rake ceilings, amazing, and multiple living areas. Now, we're bringing this to the market. Our All Properties Group Gold Coast, Nathan and Bree, are bringing this to the market at offers over 1.9 million. And you know what? Let's just roll the tape. Watch this. So there you have it, 1 Wynwood Place. That is our property of the week. And if you've got a spare offers over 1.9 million and you want to live on the water, then we definitely have the property for you. Now for our next segment, what's trending? And we have done an episode before about Rate It or Hate It, keeping up with the Kardashians. So we thought it was only right that we start what's trending with the breakup of Kim and Pete. I think we all knew it probably wasn't going to last, but what I really liked was the stoush with Kanye. He's come back onto Instagram and he's slamming him. So there was always that rift between the two, but apparently Kim and Pete are no longer. So anyone there, if you're single, Kim's back on the market. Now, for the second thing, what's trending? Now, it's a brand new app, and ironically, it is actually now the second most downloaded app of all time behind TikTok. So TikTok is the #1 downloaded app. This is the #2, and this is really trending. And I don't mind the look of this app. Now, the app is called Be Real, and I'll give you a bit of background around Be Real app. What it basically is your phone, when you download the app, your phone will send you a notification, and then you have 2 minutes from that notification then to take a selfie of yourself wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and however you look at that particular time. You have 2 minutes to complete that mission basically, and then you have to post that unfiltered photo of you up onto the app. Now, this is the catch of the app. If you do not post it within those 2 minutes, it will actually say when you do post that photo or the selfie of yourself, it will say 5 minutes late, 30 minutes late. And the whole reason behind this app, if you're late, then it's not cool. That's the whole thing. So what they're trying to really promote is none of this filtered stuff, but being unfiltered, being authentic. So they're really coming out with, hey, if you're looking for authenticity, this is the app to be on. So that's what's trending. Be real. So we couldn't do our own TV show without what's hot and what's not. And we've got some crackers for you. So what's hot? Believe it or not, I hope you are sitting down when I say this, but guess what is back in fashion? Guess what we rate now as hot? Yep, I'm gonna say it, wallpaper. It's coming back. We're seeing it so much more now in display homes and even properties we've been selling. But I'm gonna give you a really hot tip if you are going to bring wallpaper into your home. Don't wallpaper the entire home. You need to subtly do it. If you're going to use wallpaper, 2-3 rooms maximum, no more, okay? But the furniture, the decor, all has to tie in and match. So you can't have this really bold wallpaper and then really boring furniture. You know, really classy. If you're going for a really nice black and white theme, then everything else in that room should also tie in and be black and white. So whatever color you're looking at going, make sure your wallpaper, I can't even believe I'm saying this, wallpaper is back in fashion. So apparently wallpaper, it's hot. Now, what's not? Well, this is a strange one and I only just got told this, but subway tiles are not hot. Now, I wish someone told me that because I'm just renovating a property of my own right now. And guess what we put in our bathroom? Yeah, you guessed it, white subway tiles. So I wish I did some research before we did that. But the reason why it's not hot and why it's going out of trend, because it's been in trend for so long. We're not talking about when you walk into the Subway restaurant, whatever those tiles are. We're talking the long white tiles, right? The little skinny rectangle tiles, they're called Subway tiles and they're not hot. So there you go. Now, the third thing, I think this is hot. Now, post-COVID, people are back traveling. We want to get back out into nature. We've all been locked up for the last couple of years. People are traveling again. But are you one of these people with a caravan or a camper van, or you love going camping? Me, I hate that stuff. But with what we've just found, this would seriously convert me. Now, this is probably one of the most expensive motorhomes that you can basically buy in the market. It's built by Wagner. I'm not going to say too much because I want this video to just absolutely showcase what you can buy. And then at the end of it, I'm going to tell you how much this thing actually costs to buy. So let's roll the tape. So how nuts is that? Is that not like the coolest motorhome or RV that you can possibly buy? So if you've got a cool spare $2 million, that's right, 2 million bucks, then that can be yours. But what I love about it, you can fit your Porsche in. So when we're trying to sell a motorhome, it's like, oh, it's a 2-bed, 1-bathroom with a 1-car garage where you can just slide your supercar in underneath like we just saw. That is just like, that's epic. Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to call it. It's dope. Absolutely. That is one of the coolest things. And so that is our rate it or hate it. Is it hot or is it not? And that motorhome from Wagner is definitely hot. So now, let's talk about sport. I have been wanting to talk about sport because there has been so much just going on in the world of sport. So we've just finished the Commonwealth Games. Australia, I think it's one of their most successful Com Games of all time. The standout for me was definitely Cody Simpson. I thought when he came into the games, there was a lot of pressure on this guy coming from being a pop star, coming back into the world of swimming, but I think he proved everyone wrong, and winning gold with the men's relay was absolutely amazing. And the dedication and the short time, he only did that basically in 2 years, where all of these other guys have been training for the majority of their life. He was definitely still overseas, still being a pop star and a singer. So for me, I thought that was probably the performance of all. And I think also too, Peter Bol in the 800, again, there was so much pressure on this guy, and the Kenyan just beat him at the end, and he said, look, if I had another 20 meters, I would have won gold. But look, I think everyone can still say we're all proud of the efforts of Peter, especially in that race, and probably the pressure that he felt coming into that race as the favorite. I think that was kind of special. But yeah, from all the athletes, amazing efforts by all. So it was great to watch the Com Games. What else is happening? We're going to talk a little bit about Brisbane Bullets. We're probably going to drop a bombshell here. We still haven't released this yet. So again, we're going to give you another exclusive. We have just signed a multi-year deal with the NBL Brisbane Bullets. We can say it now. We've signed a 3-year sponsorship deal. So if you're looking for some merch, just wait, because we want you to have the latest merch, and because we're All Properties Group, it's going to be on the back of that jersey. And what is the coolest thing about coming into the sport right now? Well, it's all that hype. Sammy McKinnon, the GM, he has pulled a rabbit out of his hat. Look, the Bullets were copying it online on social, in all these forums and groups, because it was like, which players have we signed? We've got Kadee, we've got Tanner Krebs, we've got Sobey. Right, we've already got a star-studded, I think, lineup. But then Sammy comes and pulls out of his hat, Bainesy, the NBA champion, is coming back to Australia, and he has signed a 2-year deal with the Brisbane Bullets, and there is so much hype around the big man. Like, this guy is like 8-9 years in the NBA. He's an NBA champion, and he is playing with us in the Brisbane Bullets. Now, what does this mean for you guys? Well, we're going to have access to these players. We're going to have access to some merch. We're going to have some giveaways to give away here on the Couch with Chris and some of these episodes. So make sure you like and subscribe. Put that little alarm bell on YouTube so you can always see when the new episode drops, because we're going to have some really cool giveaways. But what I really want to talk about, probably noticed my new lid there on the side, Formula One. Now, if you're not a Formula One fan, you would have heard about what has been going on the news lately. Even if you're not into the sport, everyone, this is world news, and it actually has Australians involved, which is kind of cool, but it's sort of not as well too. But let's talk about what is going on. So Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time world champion with Red Bull, who is now driving with Aston Martin, has called his retirement. One of the champs is hanging up the helmets and going and focusing on being a family man, basically, is what he wants to do. He's done everything he possibly can do in Formula One. But that then leaves a seat at Aston Martin. What happens? Fernando Alonso all of a sudden drops a bombshell. Hey, we're leaving Alpine and we're now going straight to Aston Martin for the Stroll family. So then what happens there? Then Alpine goes, hang on, we just lost our driver who we had contracted for the next year. He's left us. We've now got this position available. Okay, well, we're just going to tweet out, Oscar Pistorius is now our driver. Now, the story on Oscar, he's a young kid from Melbourne, done the go-kart scenes, done amazing. This kid can actually drive. Like, this kid has got some sheer talent. He won the Formula 3 championship. He won the Formula 2 championship both years in a row, first year being in the category. Only a handful of drivers in the world have ever done that. But there was no seat for him. So the progression after F2 would have been, he should have been in Formula One that next year. Because of the return of Alonso, that didn't happen and he was contracted under Alpine. So what's happened now is there is now a position because Alonso's exited the team. So they tweeted out, welcome to Formula One. Oscar, you're now a Formula One driver with Alpine. 2 hours later, and I was up all night with this because when I saw that story break, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, another Aussie in. Oscar himself then tweets back out on his Instagram under his management that he has not signed with Alpine, that he will not be racing with Alpine in 2023. So where's he driving? Well, the speculation coming out of Europe, and I do believe our sources are pretty right here, that it does look like that Danny Ricciardo might be without a seat at McLaren and that Oscar has signed with McLaren. So if McLaren has pulled a rabbit out of the hat, done the dirty on Dan because he is still contracted for next season as well too, but Oscar has also done the dirty on the team that has pretty much paved his way into Formula One. He's dumped them, possibly going to McLaren, and then where does that leave Danny Ricciardo? I hope Danny stays in Formula One because it would be kind of cool to see 2 Aussies in the Formula One field. It's just great for the sport. But what are his options? Williams? Or will he go back to Alpine? So for people that are new into Formula One, Alpine team used to be the old Renault. Now, Danny actually came from Renault, flicked them midway through his term to jump ship over to McLaren. But it looks like that might be short-lived and he might be coming back. But there's also talk that there's IndyCar as well too, or Formula E, which I hope he doesn't. If he goes IndyCar, that would be kind of sweet to see as well too. But I do hope the Paddock sees him back in Formula One. So there is so much speculation, and I'm pretty sure by episode 2 on The Couch with Chris, I think we're probably going to know where these drivers are standing. So let's see if these rumors are true. But yeah, what a whirlwind. You know, it's funny to see, you know, they do call Formula One the Piranha Club because it is that's basically, it's just how it is in Formula One. Money talks, contracts move, drivers move. There is just so many moving parts, but let's hope for Australia's sake that we do see 2 drivers in Formula One. I don't care what team they're for, we'll still go for them no matter what. So there you go, guys. We've covered off property, finance, business, dropped a couple of little bombshells. We've shown you property of the week, what's trending, what's hot, what's not, and my favorite topic, of course, to finish it off with, sport. I hope you have enjoyed episode 1 of On the Couch with Chris. Make sure that you share, you like, you comment. If there's a segment or some things you want us to talk about, drop a comment. This is exclusively on YouTube only, on our channel, and make sure you hit that little bell for notifications so every time we drop a new episode. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Gilmore, proudly brought to you by All Properties Group.